Hey, my name's Tom Llewellyn, and if you've been on Twitter for a while and joined me, you know, Civil is an independent community of thinkers and voters and just regular people trying to find a way to get to best run government instead of what we have, very poorly run government. Anyway, I want to do something different. 2024 election is coming up, and sadly, it's already started, right? It's a nonstop process. But what I want to do is especially for independents or people that are Republicans or Democrats and they're trying to figure out, can I really vote for whoever their party's nominee is to kind of look at this from a different point of view. I mean, independents have traditionally said, I'm voting for the best guy, or girl, right? Which is important. It would be great if we had a woman candidate. I would love to vote for a woman president. So if you're out there, please run if you're a woman. But here's the deal. As we've tried to vote for the best person, at the end of the day, you know, we wind up getting somebody or some set of people that just don't seem to be who we voted for. You know, I think Donald Trump started out, you know, he was the guy that kind of seemed a lean Democrat. Showed up and turned into a big conservative with a few kind of edgy ideas that did or didn't work very well. And then Joe Biden, who'd been a moderate. I mean, I'm not as old as Joe, close enough to track him for the last 40 years. And it's like, he's always been pretty moderate, right? What happened? Well, you know, you get into office and you have to be supportive of what's happening at the party platform level, which is what the congressional delegation is supporting, aiming at, and trying to pass, right? And what you have now is two-party platform, one federalist kind of democratic and capitalist, and the other one national socialist and kind of, you know, on that edge. And it's like, well, so are we really voting for the guy or are we voting for something completely different? Which has turned out to be the case over and over again, especially this century. We're not quite sure what we're getting. Sometimes we get what we don't, sometimes we don't. A lot of times, you know, campaign messaging is all about issues that Congress or the president is never going to do anything about. You know, immigration, we've had the same laws forever. We've nibbled around the edges, but it's a train wreck built for, you know, last century. Nothing's really been done well or at all since, you know, 1980s. Abortion is the same thing. If you're voting about abortion at the federal level, nothing's been done. And nothing will be done, just so you know. So what are we voting for? Well, we're voting for an approach to government that's either socialist oriented or capitalist federalist oriented. And at the end of the day, what does that mean? I mean, what are you really voting for? And a lot of people go, well, I know what socialism is. It's means of production, right, owned by the government. And capitalism is, well, more about private stuff and small government. And it's kind of like, well, you know, is there more to it? Well, there's a lot more. And if you don't know how the elements of our culture are treated by each of these separate things, at the end of the day, you're voting for something that's not going to be good for you, one way or the other. So, I mean, we're going to start with ideas. Now, most people go, what do ideas have to do with the functioning of government? Well, correct. You know, the functioning of government sometimes, I think, goes without any ideas. You get two platforms that haven't changed a whole lot in the last 20 years, proposing ideas, I guess, that are just like the old ideas. I mean, we never get out of this old rut, right? Well, ideas are not only important to politics, they're important to economics. They drive economies. The economy with the most ideas and the most disruptive ideas wins. We're not winning that battle right now, but just so you know. And so we'll talk about ideas. How does socialism treat them? How does capitalism treat them? But we'll talk about profits. Good, bad, and different, right? We'll talk about top-down governance versus bottom-up. We'll talk about markets versus monopolies. We're talking about experts versus experts, right? So you have an idea, not who you're voting for necessarily, but how they're going to operate the government, and is that going to work well for you? Anyway, I'm Tom Llewellyn. The blog begins Saturday the 6th. I'll send it out at probably around 6 or 7 a.m. Mountain Time. And expect a blog every other week, the first and third Saturdays of every month, until we kind of get through everything that might be valuable to you. Anyway, second though, if you look at the blog, and I know there's a group of you out there, share it with your friends. If you think it's important or interesting or anything, share it with your friends. Second, feedback. The only way this group gets smarter and better is with your ideas. Having the other groups have a bunch of rich people that say, hey, these are the right ideas. We don't want your input. That's not the way this one works. Your ideas are really important, so your feedback is important, good or bad. I'm up for either one, especially bad, because it's those ideas, that we have where it's like people go, what? Can you explain that again? That's where you get better. Just agreeing with me isn't that important. It's nice, but tell me the tough stuff. Anyway, I'm Tom Llewellyn, and I'll see you on Saturday.